The world watched. Pope Francis, a beacon of humility and compassion, seemed to be nearing the end of his earthly journey. Whispers of his mortality hung heavy in the air, fueled by his frail appearance and recurring health issues. Did he know? Did he sense the approaching twilight? Some believe his final acts held a profound awareness, a serene acceptance of the inevitable. Others saw a fighter clinging to life, determined to shepherd his flock until his very last breath. The speculation only intensified as his health deteriorated. Chronic pain, a constant companion, became increasingly visible. His public appearances, once brimming with energy, took on a somber tone, yet his spirit remained unyielding, his voice a beacon of hope in an increasingly uncertain world. His final public address, delivered just days before his passing, resonated with a poignant awareness of his own mortality. His words, imbued with a sense of urgency and love, served as a final testament to his unwavering faith and his deep affection for his global flock. As the sun began to set on his papacy, the world held its breath, united in prayer and anticipation, bracing for the news that would reverberate through the hallowed halls of the Vatican and beyond. The news, when it finally came, sent shockwaves across the globe. Pope Francis, the 266th successor to the Apostle Peter, had passed away peacefully in his Vatican residence. The official announcement, delivered with somber formality, marked the end of an era, leaving a void in the heart of the Catholic Church and beyond. The days leading up to his passing were marked by a flurry of activity within the Vatican walls. Close aides spoke of private audiences, final blessings bestowed, and a palpable sense of peace that had settled over the papal apartments. Doctors, a constant presence in his final years, worked tirelessly to alleviate his suffering. Their efforts met with a mix of gratitude and quiet resignation from the ailing pontiff. Throughout it all, Pope Francis remained steadfast in his faith, drawing strength from prayer and the sacraments. Even as his physical strength waned, his mind remained sharp, his spirit indomitable. He continued to receive visitors, offering words of comfort and guidance, his voice a low murmur that belied the gravity of his condition. Jorge Mario Bergoglio, the man who would become Pope Francis, was born in Buenos Aires, Argentina in 1936. His journey from the bustling streets of Flores to the hallowed halls of the Vatican was one marked by both humility and unwavering conviction. He entered the Society of Jesus, more commonly known as the Jesuits, at the age of 21, drawn to their intellectual rigor and commitment to social justice. His early years as a priest were spent ministering to the poor and marginalized in the slums of Buenos Aires, experiences that would profoundly shape his worldview and his approach to the papacy. His rise through the ranks of the Catholic Church was steady, marked by both his pastoral sensitivity and his keen intellect. He served as Archbishop of Buenos Aires, a position that brought him into close contact with the political and social realities of his homeland. In 2013, the world watched in astonishment as white smoke billowed from the chimney of the Sistine Chapel, signaling the election of a new pope. The announcement of his name, Cardinal Jorge Mario Bergoglio, was met with a mixture of surprise and cautious optimism. From the moment he stepped onto the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica, Pope Francis captivated the world with his warmth, humility, and unwavering commitment to the poor and marginalized. He eschewed the opulent trappings of his office, choosing to live in a modest Vatican guest house and often traveling in an ordinary car. His simple lifestyle, a stark contrast to his predecessors, resonated with people around the world, earning him the moniker, the People's Pope. His papacy was marked by a profound sense of compassion and a deep concern for the plight of the poor, the sick, and the marginalized. He spoke out forcefully against economic inequality, environmental degradation, and the global refugee crisis, challenging world leaders to prioritize the needs of the most vulnerable. His emphasis on mercy and forgiveness, particularly his call for a culture of encounter between people of different faiths and backgrounds, struck a chord with Catholics and non-Catholics alike. His willingness to engage in dialogue with those who held different views, even on controversial issues, earned him both admiration and criticism. A world in mourning tributes and apprehensions. News of Pope Francis's passing reverberated across the globe, prompting an outpouring of grief and tributes from world leaders, religious figures, and ordinary people touched by his life and teachings. Heads of state lauded his unwavering commitment to peace, his compassionate advocacy for the poor and marginalized, and his unwavering moral leadership on the global stage. Religious leaders from various faiths praised his efforts to foster interfaith dialogue and understanding, recognizing his contributions to a more just and harmonious world. Social media platforms were flooded with messages of condolence, heartfelt remembrances, and expressions of gratitude for his transformative papacy. People from all walks of life shared personal anecdotes of how his words and actions had inspired them to live more compassionate and meaningful lives. Yet amidst the outpouring of grief and admiration, a palpable sense of anxiety permeated the global Catholic community. The loss of such a transformative figure, a leader who had ushered in an era of openness and reform, left many apprehensive about the future direction of the Church. The seat lies vacant, a conclave on the horizon. With the passing of Pope Francis, the weight of tradition and responsibility now falls upon the College of Cardinals. They must convene in solemn conclave within the Vatican walls, tasked with the monumental duty of electing a successor to the Petrine throne. The world watches, the air thick with anticipation. Who will these men of faith choose to guide the Church through a world grappling with unprecedented challenges? Will they seek continuity, a steady hand to navigate the charted waters of Pope Francis's legacy? Or will they chart a new course, responding to the shifting tides of a world in constant flux? The process itself, shrouded in centuries-old ritual and secrecy, is a testament to the Church's enduring traditions. Cardinals, sequestered from the outside world, will engage in prayer, reflection, and ultimately a series of secret ballots until a two-thirds majority is reached. The world waits with bated breath for the telltale sign-white smoke rising from the chimney atop the Sistine Chapel, announcing that a new shepherd has been chosen for the global flock. Navigating the crossroads, challenges and reforms, the next pontiff will inherit a church at a crossroads, grappling with both internal divisions and external pressures. The challenges are manifold, demanding a leader of unwavering faith, profound wisdom, and a deft hand in navigating the complexities of the 21st century. Internally, the Church continues to grapple with issues of clerical sexual abuse, financial transparency, and the role of women in leadership positions. These are wounds that run deep, demanding accountability, healing, and a renewed commitment to safeguarding the most vulnerable. Externally, the Church faces a world increasingly secularized, polarized, and grappling with existential threats such as climate change, poverty, and violent conflict. The next pope will need to be a moral voice on the global stage, advocating for peace, justice, and the sanctity of human life. He will also need to address the growing disconnect between the Church's teachings and the lived realities of many Catholics, particularly on issues such as sexuality, divorce, and the role of conscience. The weight of the fisherman's ring, the weight of the papacy, symbolized by the fisherman's ring, is immense. It is a burden borne by few, a responsibility that extends to over 1.3 billion Catholics worldwide. The next pope will be called upon to be a shepherd, a teacher, and a unifier, guiding the faithful through a world often shrouded in darkness. He will need to balance the demands of tradition with the need for reform, remaining faithful to the Church's core teachings, while also addressing the evolving needs of the faithful in the 21st century. It is a delicate dance, requiring both theological depth and pastoral sensitivity. The world will be watching, scrutinizing his every move, analyzing his every word. He will be both celebrated and criticized, revered and challenged. Yet amidst the cacophony of opinions and expectations, he must remain anchored in prayer, guided by the Holy Spirit, and committed to serving the needs of all God's people. The task is daunting, but the Church has weathered storms before, emerging stronger and more resilient. The faith of millions rests upon the shoulders of the next pontiff, a responsibility both humbling and awe-inspiring. Towards an uncertain dawn, a church in transition. As the Catholic Church bids farewell to Pope Francis, a sense of uncertainty hangs in the air. The path ahead is shrouded in mist, the destination unknown. Yet amidst the grief and apprehension there is also a glimmer of hope, a sense of anticipation for the dawn of a new era. The Church, like the world it inhabits, is in a constant state of flux, evolving, adapting, and seeking to remain relevant in a rapidly changing world. The next pontiff will play a pivotal role in shaping this evolution, guiding the faithful towards a future where faith and reason can coexist, where tradition and progress can walk hand in hand. The challenges are many, but so too are the opportunities. The Catholic Church, with its rich history, its global reach, and its unwavering commitment to social justice, has the potential to be a powerful force for good in the world. The world watches, waits, and prays. May the next successor to the Apostle Peter be a beacon of hope, a champion of the poor and marginalized, and a faithful steward of the Church's timeless message of love, mercy, and redemption. Please subscribe to our channel History Documentary Hub for more insightful videos and intriguing content.